see me. Howdy, folks. Woody Wallace from needcoffee.com here. Back again for another Wayhomer review. Yes, I know the angle is a little different because if you missed the last episode, one of the last episodes, the one before last, I'm now filming on my iPhone because my fancy smanchy camera has died. And so in the meantime, I have my lovely iPhone here, which does a decent job. But I put it on the stand over where I normally would mount the camera when I don't have a camera person, which I don't right now. And it just sort of did this number. So mounting it here, at least if I happen to glance over when I'm at a stoplight, because I'm very safe when I do these things, I can at least sort of adjust it and put it back to where it's kind of supposed to be. Anyway, yes, so we're back again for another Wayhomer review. Here's how it works. I have just left the cinema where I've seen a film, and I'm going to tell you about that film on my way home because it's just easier that way to do so. And it saves all that typing and fact-checking. Anyway, so today we're here to talk about After Earth. So yes, I know The Purge is coming out this weekend, and The Internship, and as I mentioned on Twitter, if they'd combined the films, I probably would have been interested in seeing that. But The Purge just seems like an excuse to do another home invasion movie, and those just bother me. And The Internship, it just didn't look like my thing. So I decided to catch up with my my good friend M. Night Shyamalan, who, brought us The Last Airbender, which was the worst film, what I thought was the worst film of the year that came out. So anyway, I was curious, especially since it was only last week that I found out it was his film. As Variety noted, they've sort of kept that under wraps because people just are sick of him. And Avatar, I think, Last Airbender broke pretty much everybody. So anyway, so After Earth. Here's your synopsis. Will Smith is a stony-faced general in the Rangers, and they're mankind's first and apparently only line of defense, offense, and all kinds of fences. And because basically we, of course, because this is a science fiction film, we've destroyed the planet. We do that in science fiction films. We don't seem to help ourselves. When was the last time we had a science fiction film in which, we actually fixed it? You know what I mean? Before it got really bad. Or does that just not sell any tickets? Anyway, so, regardless. So, we had to flee the planet. The Rangers helped us. And apparently, we, from somewhere, these aliens showed up, and like aliens do, they wanted to kick our asses. But they didn't want to get their hands dirty, so their tentacles or whatever, pseudopods. So they created these creatures that were designed to hunt and kill us, called Ursas. And basically the Ursas could smell your fear, literally. The pheromones that you give off when you're afraid, they can track you with that. And Will Smith is a general who became a general because he can ghost. And by that, I don't mean to, take a snapshot of whatever you have on your hard drive and be able to transfer it to another hard drive regardless of the size of the target hard drive. I mean, basically, he can not show up on the fear radar of the Ursas, basically. Because he just he has no fear, right? So he's like the Matt Murdock of the future. So he, we have a lovely accent in here, that's good. So anyway, he has a son, who, because it's Will Smith, is played by Jaden Smith, his actual son. And, Kitai, I think is how you pronounce his name, which sounds like something they would scream in a kung fu film. Basically was trying to become a ranger, but partly because he doesn't work so well in the field, and partly because he seemed to be about 10 years younger than everybody else who was apparently up for the Rangers. Because I don't know, there's this course where they're running, and I don't know. It just look. I'm like, are you all in training? Because you guys look like you're 30 and he's Jaden Smith. But I don't know. Anyway, so, but he doesn't make the cut, so he's still a cadet, and nobody's really happy about that, especially Will Smith's character, who's a bit of a hard ass. And so they, at the urging of Mom, because Mom knows best, go on to this military sort of jaunt together, and through various and sundry machinations that make very little sense, wind up on Earth, which happens to be populated with animals that have evolved to kill humans, which doesn't make a lot of sense, because last time we saw the planet, mankind was getting onto giant, Saturn V looking things to get off the planet. So how they, evolved to kill us, I have no idea. I don't know. No, I cannot come up with a no prize-worthy explanation. So basically, Katai has to go and make his way to the section of their ship which crash-landed in a different place, and get the distress beacon, and which apparently has the same sort of cell reception problem. You know what it is? It's T-Mobile, I think, is the problem with the emergency beacon. But anyway, so he has to go and retrieve that, otherwise they're going to die. That's good enough. Okay, so here's the thing. When it comes to science fiction, okay, I don't think a lot of people have the right context for science fiction. Not all science fiction has to be, or should be expected to be, like, really freaking awesome. Now, I think that for myself, and a lot of people who probably my age, who grew up with the wonders of video stores, right? And maybe, I don't know, maybe you Netflix people are like this too. But, and probably not, because I think that on Netflix you probably just most people target the things they want to see, and they don't just go trawling for just anything. I don't know, I don't have Netflix, don't know. But, back in the day, kids ask your parents, back in the day, you didn't have a lot of stuff that you could do. So yes, you would go through, and I've mentioned this before, you would pick a genre and you would just work your way from left to right through the video store, watching everything you could get your hands on, because there was nothing else to do. Okay? So, I've seen some really meh science fiction films. They can still be enjoyable. They can be okay, right? They can still be action-packed. They don't all have to be really, really well executed. Okay? Now, lest you think I'm leading you down a particular path, this one is not well executed, nor did it really reach the levels of meh. But here's the thing. I don't know that I can blame Will Smith, who wrote the story for it, because essentially, if you think about it, the story is the Edge, right? Say it, we're going to kill the bear. It's the Edge set in a science fiction future. I freaking love the Edge, okay? Now, David Mamet, this isn't. We'll get to that in a second. But, so the basic premise, that's fine, okay? And the fact that, basically, pretty much from, well, not the first 2 minutes, pretty much from the trailer, you know what the entire plot of the film is, and you know pretty much where all the beats are going to go, and you're pretty much right, okay? But there's nothing wrong with that, okay? There's nothing wrong with having a plot that you've seen before, because there's only so many damn plots in the world, right? So that's not too bad, okay? Now, I don't even think it's like M. Night Shyamalan's fault as a director. Co-writer we'll get to in a second. But as a director, there are some really good moments in the film, okay? And I sort of like the way the film opened, where it sort of just throws you in at the deep end, and you're like, what the heck is going on? I mean, you sort of know because you've seen the trailer, but you know what I mean. And I know that it's very easy to get hung up on the fact that the character names, and I don't know if this was Will Smith doing this, or M. Night who co-wrote the thing, I don't know whose idea it was to name them the Rage family, okay? And to have Will Smith play a character called Cypher Rage, okay? First started it was Cypher. But anyway, but if you think about it, my favorite film of last year was a science fiction film and featured a character called Nick Fury. So it's kind of hard to get really caught up on a character named Rage. Now, that being said, The Avengers was a comic book movie. This, if you've got a name like Cypher Rage, you need to bring a little flexibility to the table, if you will. But one of the things that they've got is Will Smith playing this completely stony-faced, only has a couple of lighthearted moments in the film at all. So there's very little humor. And what's sad is there's room for humor. You've got, a young teenage kid. You've got a dad. They're trying to survive. I mean, I know that doesn't sound on the surface like it's a setup for a bunch of chuckles, but I mean, come on. You know, in the face of death, laugh a little bit. There's one way to get around fear. Whatever. Anyway, so I mean, it's not Will Smith's fault as an actor, because again, the material called for him to be that way. We'll get to that in a second. Jaden Smith. Now, I think he was fine. In fact, I think he had one good scene. One really good scene. In fact, he was at his best when it seems like director M. Night was just like, act your age. Because he could do that really well. So he was fine, and he did a really good job of carrying a film, considering, I don't know, what, 14? I have no idea. So that wasn't the problem. Here's the problem. The problem is the material, the story, the idea of this, family that's getting over trauma, all of this stuff needed a better script. Because it's just completely hamstrung by, basically, this is not, I don't think I'm giving this away. The whole reason Will Smith's character can't go and get the emergency beacon is because he's broken his legs. Well, the script basically has its legs broken as badly as Will Smith's by goofy, nonsensical science and technology, and then just really terrible moments, terribly written moments that just are cringeworthy, okay? And it's sad because there are really good moments. The whole speech that Will Smith delivers, right, about, and this is on the poster, because this is not a spoiler, danger is real and fear is a choice. That's actually a really good speech. I liked that, okay? There's a sequence in which Jaden Smith flips out and finally says what's on his mind. I thought that was good, partly because it's exactly something a kid his age would do. And the saw it coming a mile away finale, Face Off, I actually enjoyed. So there were bits of it that were good, but again, there were so many problems with it from the standpoint of, and it was a bunch of little things, like everything has to be labeled. I haven't seen this much obvious labeling since Battlefield Earth, right? Here is this prop that has this hologram label on it that will tell you exactly what it is. And just in case we haven't gotten the point across, it will tell you what it does as well. Literally, the prop will tell you what it does in big neon letters across its surface. Amazing. There's just moments of barefaced exposition that if you've been trying, like I was, because I honestly was like, this could be a decent film. I'm hanging on to it with both hands and one foot, and I'm trying to, but you get some bit of exposition that's just like it's like somebody handing you raw chicken. You just go, don't give me that. So raw, uncooked exposition, right? Handed right to you, and you just go, no, why did you do that? You could, why didn't you leave that and put that in the oven or something? I didn't want exposition tartare, right? So that was just bad. So it's just a series of problems like that are just underwritten, badly written, that sort of thing, that undermine it. And the problem is, I was talking about, you can have kind of science fiction that you go, yeah, that was okay. But when you've got a film that's so completely set up to be, I mean, it's like they, you would think, if I hadn't, if nobody had said, oh, this wasn't based on a video game, you would think it was based on a video game. Because there's certain things you have to do, certain places you have to reach, certain goals. You know, it's almost like, okay, well, now we've hit this place, now we got it, we do a save point, right? I mean, it really feels like that. And when you've got stuff that's that thin, that's interfering with your ability to enjoy the film, when you've got something like some bad exposition or a bad character moment or something like that, it just pokes holes in you. Like one of those giant, you know, stick things that they have that seems to be able to morph to certain blades. What? Okay. Here's the thing, because this appear, I can't. This is not. I don't think this is a spoiler, because you see the thing, the pokey thing that they use. That's their weapon of choice. I'm sorry. If I was going up against something, which was a great alien design, by the way, it's kind of like somebody took something that Giger dreamed up and melted it a bit. If I was going up against something like that, some nightmarish thing designed to make you afraid, you know what you need? How about a long-range weapon, okay? How about a freaking gun, okay? I know that, you know, maybe it's all PC, and maybe they're trying to be more fair and whatever else, but I'm sorry. A two-bladed sword, unless I'm Ray Park and I'm covered in red and spikes, I'm not going up against something with that many arms and that can spit acid, tarry, you know, loogies at me. I'm not going up against that when I could just shoot it from a distance, right? Now, granted, that makes for less of a film, but, and the only reason I say, I mean, it's not even like, oh, well, there was a gun with a ship and it's just that the clip got damaged. No, it's just that apparently the weapon of choice is a stick that can morph into blades. What? What is this? I mean, is this, did you think you were going to remake Krull? What's happening? So, anyway, I've been going on because there's a lot to go on about. Here's the bottom line. I know you're thrilled. The bottom line is, this film deserved to be better. The Smith family deserved better material to work with, because they were giving it their all. They seem to be, anyway. You know, it just basically shot itself. No, it didn't have a gun. It stabbed itself in the foot, is what happened. Okay? So, that's just a shame. End result is this. Cup-wise, I'm going with 1.5. Which is, frankly, based on, you know, I have done a lot of reading of reviews, but just looking at the overview of what's going on, I thought I would like it even less than that. But there were actual moments in it which I really enjoyed. So, yeah, 1.5, and I would say, you know what? This would be a perfect opportunity to experience life the way it used to be, and wait for this to hit Netflix or cable somewhere, and just watch it simply because it's in the genre. And enjoy the bits that make sense, and run away from the bits that don't. And there you go. So there you go, another Wayhomer in the can. I probably have talked for 30 minutes. I have no idea. So I apologize for that, but I had a lot on my mind. And, you know, I wanted to... I actually saw this because I was like, oh, if I really didn't like it, that would be fun. I could just rant and rail against it. But I couldn't hate it, you know? So that's a definite improvement over the last M. Night film. Anyway, if you enjoy these things, do us a favor, and you can share this any which way but loose. Yeah, Pinterest, Flipboard, Facebook, whatever it is. Take a moment and share this with a total stranger. And also, if you enjoy these things and you want to help with replacing the camera, you go to neatcoffee.com/support and throw some money in the tin. Just a few cents would do wonders because it all adds up and helps us out a great deal. So anyway, thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next time on the Wayhomer Reviews. Bye. I can't even tell if I'm waving. Add the camera properly. Cypher Rage. Jeremiah Anger. Ezekiel Disappointment. Henrik Regret. Alexander Negative Attitude. That's franchise.